Welcome to the Spa Girls podcast, a self-publishing podcast for authors. You're in the right place for the best writing, marketing, and publishing advice, plus interviews with industry experts and best-selling authors. I'm Cheryl Phipps.
I'm Shah Barrett.
And I'm Trudy J. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. And this week we have the delightful Kathleen Sweeney from Sweeney. Sorry, oh my gosh. I was trying to say Bookbrush and other words at the same time. From Bookbrush,
Yes.
joining us today. If I can get my words out. It is so delightful. This is the third time we've had you on, and we've got you on again because we do love Bookbrush and we all use it and go back in again and again to create awesome graphics and trailers and things inside the program. So thank you for joining us, Kathleen.
I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. So I'm just going to really quickly read out your bio, hopefully better than I read out your name, and we can get into the question. So Kathleen Sweeney is the customer services manager and marketing lead at Bookbrush. She loves creating images. She brings over 20 years of client service experience, business assurance, strategy, and problem solving to Bookbrush. That's awesome. So you're going to solve all our problems for us here today, is what I'm expecting.
We only have an hour, right? So I mean, there may be some left on the table.
No, all the problems are going to be solved, and it's going to happen in that time frame.
Starting now, yeah.
Starting from now. So just maybe just to start off, if someone hasn't listened to the previous podcast, can you just explain really quickly what Bookbrush is and sort of the overall platform? Yeah, what it is.
Absolutely, yes. So Bookbrush is an online platform that we designed specifically for authors to be able to hop in and design your own book promo graphics, and then lots more things. So you can do book trailers and animated email signatures, all kinds of authory things, all in one handy little marketing toolbox right there for you that you can do yourself. We have been in the author space since 2018. And we just feel like we're kind of rising to the top of leaders in graphic design for authors. So we've got all these different tools. I'm hoping to whet your appetites with some of the things that we've seen that people are doing new, show you how you can do them in here. And there's your whole afternoon sorted. Since it's morning for you, you'll be off and trying all the new things.
That's awesome.
Probably.
Could be. Definitely be. So let's start there then. Like what are some of the new things that the Bookbrush has that we're going to be really excited about? Like what give us
Well, I was going to step back and just say, for anybody that's new, it's bookbrush.com, and you can sign on and you can create 15 graphics for free. So don't feel like, whoa, I don't know what I'm doing. You can get in there and play around. And we've got all the different platforms set aside. So if you don't know what size you need for Instagram or Facebook or BookBub, all those dimensions are right there in pixels for you. And then we continue to add things. So we now have about 300 different options of 3D versions for your book. So you really just need to bring in that flat 2D cover and the magic can happen. We also now have an option to create spines. So if you want that look, you can do it with a spine. So for the most part, we made it really easy. Just the 2D cover, and it turns into an ebook facing all different directions, physical books, phones, put your book in a Polaroid picture, things like that. But people do sometimes want the spine version. So you can either bring in your own or make it here with the Bookbrush tools. And then I think since I've been on before, we've added some multi-devices, and we have two types. One shows your book in several different formats, so you visually can readers can see, oh, look, I can get this book in all these different formats, versus you having to say, woohoo, you can get my book in these different ways. So I think that's nice visually. And then we have a second option where there may be 3 or 4 different ones, and they're different books. So if you have a series, you can pop different book covers in, but they're all together in one handy dandy version.
And I want to point out here, what's really cool about Bookbrush is that all of the graphics, everything is designed specifically for authors. So, it's not complicated. You're not having to go into Photoshop and try and figure out what stupid tool and where to go. Oh my God, my husband works in Photoshop and I cannot figure it out. So if you're someone who's a little bit unsure about the illustrations or not illustration, the design aspects of this, you guys have made it easy, and you've made it specific to authors. So that's what's cool. So you've got all of these different, that's what I love about it, being able to put my book cover into the different graphics. Yeah. So anyway, keep going. Sorry, Kathleen, I just wanted
No,
to
I say
make
that a lot.
clear.
There are a lot of nice design tools out there, but they're not all designed specifically for authors. So what I think is really nice in BookBrush is every time you turn around, there's something that's authory related, authory content, something you didn't even know you needed as an author. And you're like, oh, well, I don't mind if I do. I'll make this because it's easy to do. So that's really where we strive to be your go-to option for authors to create all those cool marketing things.
And I think that as a lover of BookBrush, and I don't get paid to say that, the mere fact that you can do so many graphics and tweak it to the different sizes on the different social media quite easily, if you actually worked out per graphic how much that costs, it would be so reasonable. It's actually crazy that to not do it. And, that is because I love it. I'm saying that, but also because I use it just about every day. So there you go.
I love that.
Perfection. All right. So if we get back to the new things, so what other new tools and things that are inside BookBrush that we might not have known about?
So I think what I'm going to do, I'll share my screen. So for those that are watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see that, but I will talk very carefully about some of the things. So I'm going to show you how to make some of the things that people are seeing maybe on social media that you didn't know how to make. Nice. So one of them is going to be those, people see them on Pinterest a lot, but I call them a diagonal collage. So you'll see the book in these orderly diagonal rows, and it's just like, wow, look at that. Ding, 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 all these books going along. So we know you could do that from scratch, but we also think, well, that would be a bit of a pain in the boot. So we now have templates for you to do that. And I'll go in and just show you. So for those who may not be online right now to see it, I'll just talk through. You're going to go into BookBrush. It says choose a tool to begin, and we'll go into our custom creator. And since these are under Pinterest, we're going to go into community templates on the left, and we'll choose under platform the Pinterest option. And a couple of them pop up right here. So for those that are seeing it live, it just shows your book cover here in all these diagonal formats, and you just click swap cover. So I'll do one. You click the lightning bolt here. Your covers pop up, and look at this one. See, 8 pips, it's adorable.
Beautiful cover that is.
It's going to be so fun. So you would just swap it into all of these and change the background. And I realized that would be time consuming. So I did it ahead of time and saved it. So look at this. It's going to take a minute to pop in. One of them looks like it disappeared. But these are really fun and striking to do in BookBrush. And it's just simply swap in your cover on each of these. You also can do different covers. So if you've got several books in your series, that's another powerful way to do that. And they just turn out so cool. So I don't know. Have you guys been seeing some of those out there and wondered where you were getting them?
I personally, but I'm not a Pinterest person anymore because I had to stop myself. But that would be really cool. Like you could then use that for like a website graphic like this. That's a cool technique. It's really eye-catching.
Yeah,
and
that's
of course
a good point, actually, Shah. Yeah,
you could put it anywhere. We're not in charge of what you do with it when you download it.
That's awesome. No, it's really striking actually when you can do that kind of thing. And
show you a couple other ones. This example shows, and if I click this eye, you can see all the things that are happening, but it's a combination of ebooks, phones, and physical books. So again, you could show all the different ways it shows up, and you just swap your cover into each one. And I think we might have added one more in here. And of course, you're free to make your own. Let's see where that one got to. Well, it's living in here somewhere. But I've got several samples, and then I had another one just to show you where you could also put cool effects in the background. So I'm going to pop this one up. So for those that aren't seeing it live, please go to YouTube and look at the amazing. So the books are fading in and out. We've got this lightning going behind, and it is just fabulous.
That is awesome.
That is very cool.
So is that
You can make
that would be
this,
like a video that you would put on, say, on Insta or TikTok or whatever? Like, is that
yes.
where you
So
would use
I
it?
took that kind of template, and then you can add animation on any of your paid plans. So you just click each item, and I added some animation. And then in the background step, instead of just doing a static image, I went to the videos tab and searched and put a video in the background. And holy moly, it looks really cool. The system can tell if you've added animation or video. And so when you go to download, you'll see that you have an MP4 download option, and you're correct. It's going to be an MP4. And since that's vertical, it's just perfect for anything that people are viewing on their phone. So Instagram Reels, TikTok Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, all those things. People don't always turn their head, so vertical is good.
Yeah. And is that a template that's in there, or is that one that you just created?
This one has the book one is in there, and then you would
Okay.
just in the background step add an animation or a video effect that suits you. So this one kind of lended itself to lightning. You may want a sweeter, you could have rose petals going by if that really is more your thing. Because the background images and videos sourced from Pixabay, I think they have like 4 bajillion options, so you should be good.
Is that a
You
real
should be able
number?
to
Is that
find
a
some.
real number?
It's a Kathleen number.
Yeah. You know, authors can make up words, so I'm just
Yes.
joining the forces.
There you go.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So that's really cool.
So that was one cool thing I wanted to show you. And then, do you have any questions about that? I've got another cool thing up my sleeve.
That's cool.
No, I think that one's good. I'm going to go do that after the podcast.
I knew your afternoon would get busy.
Yeah.
All right. One of the other things that you may be seeing out there are some of those images with what I would call the adorably flirty arrows that come in and call out the different tropes and things.
Seen those
And
a
so I'll
lot.
show you an example. They're super fun. So again, we have some in the community templates. Those usually live in this collections for readers. They tend to be there and several other places because they're like what readers would say. But let me pull up an example. So
I just made one of these this morning, actually.
Did you? That's so cool.
Yeah, and once you've got the template, you can just change it to the next book and change the background and change the actual text, can't you? Sorry, I'm doing your job.
It's super easy. No, you could. I'm not. You probably don't even need me for the tutorial. I mean, so you would just literally like swap in. So I'm clicking the lightning bolt, and it came with a book template. We're putting in a different one. This one had 4 different text boxes calling out 4 different highlights, tropes, whatever kind of things. The things that were listed originally were Only One Bed, Best Friends to Lovers, Second Chance, and Small Town. Obviously, these things vary depending on your book. I'm attempting to see what we can do with this one. I think Small Town might still work, but you know, like we could click on, I was trying to come up a hidden agenda possibly for this one. What do you think?
Yep, very good.
All right, I'm piggybacking with Cheryl's book here. So also
Eagles Love
Amateur
Layer
Sleuth.
Cake Lies is the name of the book if anyone wants to go and see it.
Amateur
Sleuth.
I have to make sure I can spell amateur. Sleuth. And then the thing that's nice is you probably want to like pick a font that suits you a little bit more if you want to. I don't know if this is a second chance. What else? Oh, I was going to highlight baking competition because there's when you niche down or whatever, however you say the word, to different things. There are people who love to read about baking competitions or they love books with dogs. Like call out those things so they know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to type in the word competition, and typing is really a skill. All right. So if you were quickly going to personalize this, even just leaving the background as is, we'll do my favorite little color picker. You click the eyedropper, bring it over, and it can match perfectly to whatever color you click there. So now all of a sudden it's on brand for you. I am a big fan of the gradient. So when you have one color, you can just click add gradient and you could choose a second one. So that gives you a little bit more variety in here. That wasn't very dramatic. Let's pick a different one. We'll do the dark color here. And then I'm going to take the text and we would just turn it white. So super cool, quick way to make these either from a template or from scratch. So
Very cool.
let's talk about the arrows and where they live if you want to make your own. So these arrows live down on the left-hand side in elements in the arrows section. And you can click see all. These are fabulous for a couple reasons because you can pick them. So if we pick one in here, we can color pick these as well. So they can match absolutely anything in here if you want them to. You can rotate them how you want. And then you can also adjust the thickness here like this with this slider.
Well, that's new
hidden,
to me.
hidden gem alert. You can also just do an outline of some of these. I don't think it worked quite right because I had it too fat. But some of these other ones will do just the outline of it, depending what you've got in there. And so there's a lot of fun things that you could do. We could color pick that text as well. I'm picking out the brown of this adorable pup here. But it lets you really personalize these. And I think that's why they're so well liked here. Have you guys been seeing these out on social media?
Yeah.
Yes.
See that a lot. I think it's great. Like you say, it's really calling out the tropes and the things that readers of that particular genre or subgenre would be
see it a lot
for.
in romance.
Yeah.
And rather than having them hidden in the blurb, well, of course, they're still going to be in your blurb, but call out those things here. I'm going to keep making some of these lighter.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've seen is authors doing it for themselves, like their own love story with their partners. And it's like the author is in the middle with their partner or whatever, or not even that. Maybe it's just about the author, and they use like best friend from college, and I don't know, I can't think of some other ones, but it's just how they personally either got together, or maybe some of the things about the author that they want their readers to know about. So taking something like this that started out being about the books and using it for just a ways to engage with readers. So that's another
this is brilliant. Do you know how much time I spend telling people that you are your brand? So putting yourself out there, this is wonderful. I'm so glad you said that. One of the other things that I recently was talking to in one of my webinars, when I was saying you are your brand. So I said, bring a picture of yourself in. In fact, I'm going to do this and we'll just talk through. So I have a picture of myself in images over here. It's nothing fancy, but I'm wearing a white t-shirt. Do you know why this is really, really cool? Because in BookBrush, you can now add anything you want on that shirt, and you are seasonal no matter what. So it just makes you, so I'm going to add a filter to this. So I brought in a picture of myself, nothing fancy about it, white t-shirt. I'm going to go into images on the left and search. And if we are doing a St. Patrick's Day graphic, we will just look for a shamrock. And I can put that on. I'm just moving it right to the center. And guess what? I am now wearing a holiday St. Patrick's Day top.
That's awesome.
So it's really kind of fun if you don't mind making yourself silly and being part of your brand. And I think readers really love that about you. So whatever, if you have your logo, but I'm wearing a BookBrush shirt. If you don't have that, you could just bring in your logo and all of a sudden you are wearing a logo top. So I think it's a really cool. Let's pick another holiday. Well, I guess we should talk about Christmas because you could always have Christmas in July. So let's do a cute little Christmas.
We do here.
True. Okay, so see, even just something. Oh, here's like a gold sparkly tree. I would probably make that a little bit smaller. But anyway, when you're thinking about yourself being your brand, a picture of yourself in a white t-shirt could really be universal in BookBrush. And
it's such a good idea.
And combining it with those trope arrows about yourself or like things you love. Oh my gosh, guys, this is great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it could be for whatever.
Coffee lover.
Right? Like I'm trying to think. It's really hard to think of stuff like that off the top of your head, but I mean, it could be anything.
Chocolate addict.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want
hobbies include
if
your hobbies
cover
are
model too, couldn't you? You could take the background off your book cover.
Oh yeah.
The cover model.
Yeah.
Was cover models.
Or you could do it one for each of the main characters or something and stuff like that. Like there's loads of different options. But so Kathleen, you had some examples of things that authors could put in their thing. So what were they? Hobbies?
I was thinking cat mom And like eating tacos, you know, like hobbies include eating tacos, reading, up all night, you know, all those different things that are quirky about yourself. Readers like to know those kind of things. So that would be kind of fun, but I'm kind of getting carried away with using all your main characters in here. That would be some really great fodder for social media that doesn't feel salesy. It's not like buy my book.
It
would be really cool.
And that's an awesome way to get people excited about that character, right? Like you give them some really some of the really hooky kind of characteristics, like stubborn but or something, you know, like just think of the kind of words that are going to really hook people in. I like that. So I'm going to be
look at what we just came up with.
We're
this is the best
ever.
I'm going to be doing that this afternoon. You're right, Kathleen. I am going to be spending all afternoon doing
we could do that for the Spa Girls, actually.
Yeah, we should do that. One for each of us, actually. That would be awesome.
Ooh, be sure to tag us. I want to see.
And our white t-shirt.
Awesome.
Be on the white t-shirt. Oh my gosh.
Yep. So that could be on your to-do list. Everybody get a white t-shirt picture, and then it wouldn't have to be that. You could certainly do your tropes or your hobbies or about me, likes or dislikes. Like absolutely hates thunderstorms, does not like tea or whatever. People are always surprised to find out something that you don't like that everyone else seems to love. Like, what? You don't like dark chocolate or whatever, you know.
I like all of those suggestions, actually.
Awesome.
I don't like coffee, and I always feel like I'm some sort of weirdo for not liking coffee. So I'm going to put that on. Is that good? Or is people just going to think I'm a weirdo? Oh my God.
No.
I think they'll love you for it.
I think we already know that's the case.
I'm a weirdo.
So I don't know if that's anything new.
So it's not based on the coffee at all. I mean,
no, it's nothing to do with coffee. Clearly, is what they're telling me.
You can have a wish list too.
Yeah.
All right. So while we're in here and we're talking about things in Elements, I also wanted to talk about QR codes. Have you guys talked much about QR codes?
No.
Not really.
Okay. So here's why I think QR codes can be really helpful. There's just a couple things. So they kind of became even more popular with COVID because people were doing away with paper. And even if somebody doesn't know what a QR code is, they've seen it. So for those that aren't knowing like the name of it, it's that cute little square digital thing that you see that you can scan with your phone and get information. So
they used to be harder. It used to be that you had to download a QR code reader, and it was this complicated, and some of them you had to pay for, and like it was just stupid stuff. Whereas now you can just do it on your camera, on your phone. So like right on your phone, and you can get the new menu, or you know, restaurants use it for their menu or to find more information. So places that I think they're good for authors. It's nice to put like in the back matter of your book, because you can always update what information is on where you're linking them. So a QR code links to a URL. You can update your URL. So when you put a QR code in the back of book 2, and it turns out now you've got book 4, you're updating your URL, so they're always getting current information. So I like that for QR codes for that physical option. But from a book brush perspective, we talk about putting it on some swag items that you might print. So I'll just talk through that just a tiny bit. One place would be a bookmark. So if you were going to do a bookmark, for an example, I'm going to go into the community templates, but I also want to mention you can create bookmarks from scratch. So if you click on Other here, we've just recently added, so here's new feature alert, additional sizes and directions. So they used to be just vertical in here. Well, you know what? Sometimes you want vertical on one side maybe and horizontal on the other, so that it's kind of universal. So we made that a little bit easier for folks who are doing the design your own. So we have 2x6 and the reverse, the 6x2. And then also 2.5 by 8.5, both directions. And then same thing for 2x7. So hopefully that gives folks a little bit more versatility if they're wanting to do their own. If you're plumb out of ideas, we also have community templates. We really want to cover you one way or the other. So I'm going to go into the platform and zip down to bookmarks. And you can see some examples in here. And I'll go ahead and click one. And so this is a sample bookmark that's in the workspace. It has a background, but you can change it. You can also click each item and edit. So author name,
you'll update to yourself. And then I'm a bit of a font nerd, so keep in mind with fonts, you want to have a font that's a little bit in your genre, branded for you. If it's not branded to you, at least choose fonts. And we have some blog posts on font pairings, but that give off that right vibe. So if it's a sweet romance, you don't want a thriller font. They won't be getting what they think they're getting. So anyway, you're going to update these bits and pieces here. But this is also a really great place to put a QR code, because if you're going to hand these out either at an in-person event or deliver them digitally for folks and they can print at home, the QR code is really great. Here's a bit of a litmus test on where's a good time to use a QR code. If it's on something that's paper, they can scan it with their phone. If they're looking at it on their phone, it is hard to scan with your phone. So I would tell people, just because they look neat, you know how to make them, don't plop them on everything. Think through the spots that are good. So physical items like the back of your book, business cards, postcards, bookmarks, coasters, lots of swag items would be good for that. And then of course, if you have like a banner, retractable banner or something at a table at an in-person event, that's a super good spot too. So where could you make a QR code? You can do that in BookBrush.
How convenient.
So we'll go down to the left-hand side to Elements. And so in Elements, you'll scroll to the very bottom and it says create a QR code. And you just simply paste in the URL, or if you know it. But let's just say we were going to make one for this exact BookBrush page. So I could just copy that, paste it in here, and click Generate. And then you'll click Save QR Code, and it's in your account for all the times you want to use it. It's going to add to your menu here. If you have several, you can just hover, and you'll see it saved it by the name that you put in there. So that can help you if you link to your website and then you want to link to Amazon. You'll have different QR codes and you can find them. Then you just click, it puts it into your image, and these are easy to resize either by dragging, or you can double click and resize here with the slider. So QR codes, I think, if you're not exploring those, they're a really neat option to add to your physical items.
And so if you said that before you could change the link to them. So if we wanted to change the link, how do we do that?
So that's not exactly what I meant. So the link will stay the same, but you're going to update the information that's there. So let's think of it like, I said it wrong, I'm pretty sure. So let me clarify and fix it. Okay. So if you go to a restaurant and they're linking to the menu, they can just update their menu page with their specials. Okay. But it will always go to the menu. Yeah. So if you link to your website, that is ideal because you're going to be updating your website. So it will never be out of date. If you just listed your books, it's out of date then, but by putting them to the website that you can eternally change and update, they'll always be able to get your newest, latest, and greatest.
So do people link to, say, for example, Amazon, or is that not a great idea? Is that, would you be better, my question is, would you be better to link to somewhere that was under your own control, like your website, rather than something that...
So I think you're on the right track under your own control, except if it's like a quick buy now thing, like maybe you're at an event and that's an easy way for folks to be able to buy your book quickly, then the satisfaction, and you can make lots of QR codes in here. So there might be a case for that'd be a good idea to link to Amazon, because then it's a one-click purchase for them.
Maybe if it's a short-term thing versus a long-term thing.
Yes, of course, there's no rule. Rules are made to be broken. I mean, I suppose there's a lot of best practices and things like that, but I think linking it to your own sites that will still be good, especially if you're printing it on something that you're planning to use for a while, like bookmarks, or if you're going to design some coasters, your business card, I'd probably put that
your store
to your own.
Your store would be a good place, wouldn't it, for it to link to?
Yeah, anything on your website or your blog. Anything that has a URL. So if you have somewhere where you sell them yourself instead of Amazon, then that's a great idea too. Yeah. So I just love talking about QR codes because people feel like really up to date. Like, oh, look, I'm doing what people are doing now. I didn't even know they were easy to make. And then when you come into BookBrush and click create a QR code later, all the ones that you made will be there. And if you need to discard one that's not current anymore, you can just click those dots, obviously, and take it out of there.
Okay. Cool.
So there's my talking about QR codes. I think you can direct them to other places if you're wanting to send them to your newsletter sign up and you have a special thing for that. All those different things would be options too.
That's really cool.
All right. So I think I was going to next talk a little bit about some of the new services that we added, but let me know if there's anything else that you guys thought of that you wanted to highlight here in BookBrush Land and the Custom Creator.
I think the one thing I'd mention is the templates and the pre-made stuff. Like if you're someone who worries a bit about not being able to design stuff for yourself.
Very good point. Yes. So
I think that helps with like placement of text and things like that. I think when you're starting out, you've just really got no idea where you should be putting those text boxes, or indeed what kind of fonts to use. But you have that all on BookBrush, don't you?
And the kind of thing that you might even want to put together, it's hard to know. So that is where we have you covered. So there are literally thousands of templates that we call community templates, meaning that we made them for you in our BookBrush community. And they're put together with a design eye, but they are completely editable. So I'm going to pull one up here. It says, well, that one got kind of funny. Let's go back in for a different one. If you had a release, how about this? So this graphic has cover reveals, which are really cool. It says coming and it has a date. So obviously you'll just click on that and change it to your release date, put yours in there. But it's already set up with a great spot for where the font goes, what positioning is good, the size of the book, so you're not left with this blank rectangle and feeling stressed out of what to put where. Yeah. So with those templates, I'll just talk about that for just a tiny bit more. So we have templates for Facebook ads, BookBub ads, and all the other things in Facebook too, the cover photos, the shared image. Social networks are actually encouraging folks to follow you on the social networks, so you can make those different graphics to reel people in. And then under newsletter, there are graphics to get people to sign up for your newsletter. And then we also have templates for email headers. So once you have reeled them in and gotten them to sign up, then you would also want to wow them with a nice looking email header. So you can put those together in here pretty easily. When we talk about the email headers too, I think a little time-saving tip, if you like to make a fresh one for each monthly newsletter, just save it as a project in your account, and then you can update it with the month, if there's a different book cover to feature, all those things, but it's definitely a time saver because you've already gotten it kind of set up with your colors, your brand, and your look and feel.
Yeah, that's really good. So this is the other question I had. Okay, so first of all, this is a really great place to go and look and get ideas, even if you're going to not use a template per se, but try and create it for yourself inside BookBrush. But secondly, are there ones that are your most used? Like, what are the most popular tools or templates?
You mean which category, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Like just
it kind of depends.
Yeah.
So I see it all. We just hit 100,000 BookBrush users this year. So we get a little bit of everything, which was also pretty exciting. Think of all those folks that we are able to help with their, book marketing adventures. So, there's a section called book plates. Not everybody's going to make those, but if you are looking to design one, those are a nice, affordable swag option because you can get them printed, but it's a lot cheaper to mail someone a book template. And especially you folks realize, you're here, I'm over here. You wouldn't want to ship me a book, but you could mail me a book plate, no problem. So that would work out. A section on giveaways and contests. So I think it really kind of varies on what people's needs are. I think we probably see the most, as far as genre, we see the most romance because there's a lot of romance out there, but we have templates that will work for anything, and you can personalize, so you can just change them up if you need to. Definitely a lot of just, the Facebook and the Instagram, because that way it's easy to do lots of posts on social media and it's affordable. On a paid plan, you have unlimited downloads, so you can just make lots and lots of things.
That's awesome. So this is another question that we had. Sorry, I'm just asking all the random before we move on to the next phase.
No, that's perfect. I love questions, and hopefully I know the answers.
So for example, so it's really easy to go and use these templates if you're new to it or whatever, but if you've decided that you want to just make something for yourself and get one of the basic, just get the outline of the Instagram page and try and design it for yourself, are there some design, I'm using quotes, but rules that maybe we should be thinking about, that you can kind of just like a good contrast, not too much clutter?
I feel like sometimes that's a moving target because the trends change so much. I mean, even when we look out, like we weren't seeing those ones with all those trope arrows maybe 6 months ago, and now I'm like, look at all those. So things do change. I do talk about, making sure the font coordinates with your genre. And then if you are doing things with animation, I definitely say maybe don't animate every single thing, because even though it looks nifty, like your poor readers, you've got text zipping in and out, your books are fading here and there. So I would be selective and have it be impactful, but not overdoing it and giving your poor readers a seizure there with the theatrics. So there's a best practice, I guess, for the animation. As we don't have like guidelines for picking colors, a lot of that would probably go with your book cover and your genre, I think, maybe too.
Yeah. And I think that maybe that would be a guideline, is to be really clear on your genre and the kind of colors that you want to use for your books, and your, like, almost know your brand before you kind of get too deep
And
into
the
it,
thing
maybe.
about that is that when you do that, then the book gets into the hands of the right people who do want to read that, who are then more likely to leave a positive review, be happy, they're not going to return the book, all those things, because you communicated what was going to be between the cover, with your graphics and things like that. So if the graphic looks like a fantasy book and it turned out to be historical romance, they might be disappointed. It's not that your book's not great, the graphic just didn't communicate that potentially.
That is I love that. I love what you're saying there, that it's communicating something, like, and it's not, we've had all these guests, I don't think maybe you've said this before and I've just not picked up on it, but like everything that we are doing graphic wise is actually communicating something to the person looking at it, and we have to really know what we're communicating, and sometimes we are inadvertently communicating something that we don't mean to be. So need to sort of be really aware of that and thinking about it as we're doing designs. I think that's a really, really important point.
And we do have in community templates, you can just filter by genre. So if you just want crime, then none of these look romancy. I know that folks who aren't on here can't see, but we've got dark colors, some blood, some crime scene tape. These people who are looking at these are not going to be expecting any fluffy romance.
No.
So there's just a thought of, now let's switch to historical, like totally different feel. The colors are different, they're softer. So just these might even give you an idea, even if you want to create your own, but you could say, okay, what do they have in fantasy? There's more purples and different kinds of a little bit of whimsical. So yeah, I think you're on to something, like thinking through what are you communicating and telling people so that they gravitate towards that, and the right people gravitate towards it so they're satisfied with what they ended up reading.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Chris Fox talked to us about it, calling it symbols, like the visual symbols, but it's actually, I like the idea of it being a communication. It's you're telling them something about your book and every single piece of what's going on there. So make sure that I mean, and we're doing that as authors anyway, right? Like we are communicating something via written form. So now this is just about thinking about what we want to communicate via visual or graphic form. So
you wove the story with words, keep weaving it with your images, I guess, if you can, like those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Perfection.
Very cool.
Have you guys got any more questions?
No.
I'm
good.
That's good. All right. So the next section of the interview was Kathleen?
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the services that we're offering now. So our software side, which is what I would call this, and the do-it-yourself platform, is not going anywhere. We've got all sorts of people who know and love it and are doing a great job in there and having a lot of fun. But there are also some people who are tearing their hair out, and it's just they don't have the time. Maybe they feel like they don't have the skill, or you know what they wanted to do was write books. And so they were like, oh, I didn't know I had to do all this. So we have a option for you can hire us. And we call this part of it hourly concepts. Still part of BookBrush, but we will be your graphic designers. So like we're your VA. Let us take things off of your plate that don't bring you joy. I mean, move those things along. It's a time for you to focus on the things you like doing. Or if there's things that you haven't learned or don't want to learn or don't have time to, we have a lot of people ordering. So you pick different design projects in here, but I'm going to touch on one of the main ones that people order is the Amazon A+ content. And have you guys talked about that much on your channel?
Not a huge amount.
No.
We have talked about it with you, I think, at one stage, but yeah.
So I'll back it up just a little bit. So on your Amazon page, if you have access to your own KDP dashboard, in that from the publisher section, you can add these Amazon A+ graphics. There are some rules about them, and you also want to be putting your best foot forward. And so this is something that a lot of people are like, I don't know, I'm going to have somebody else do that for me. So I've got some examples here that people have had us do. The two main ones that people do are 4 stacked modules and 3 stacked modules. And they tell, again, some of the tropes. They call different things out. The example I have here has a couple modules talking specifically about the one book. It says Her Irish Inheritance. You can tell by the colors. You're going to have some romance and things like that. It calls out 2 broken hearts and 1 dilapidated property. So for those who are like, ooh, I love, fixer-uppers, then they've got that calling their name. And it said that might just bring them together. And then what else is brilliant about this one is in the bottom module, all the books in the series are there. So no matter what page they land on in your Amazon, they're like, oh, there's more books, because it's possible that they didn't land on book 1. So these are kinds of things that people hire our design team to knock out for them, and then they can put them up on the Amazon page themselves.
Nice.
Here's a different example. This one has quote boxes underneath, and the darker colors, it's a mystery one. The quote boxes are a nice way to give yourself credibility from someone else saying it rather than you saying your book is fabulous. You've highlighted those great quotes, and you provide us the content and we put it together for you. Here's another one where the author put her picture at the bottom, and I think that again is your brand, and that's a neat way to do that kind of thing. So we've had a lot of fun doing these, but also feel like we're producing a really nice product. So if you are wanting to have the Amazon A+ content, and just not sure, because if you can see these, there are 3 or 4 stacked images that all flow together as a picture. And so you can make those yourself, but it also is like, eek, like having someone else put those together can also be really nice. So that's a little bit on the Amazon A+. And just talking about the hourly concepts, you can either buy a la carte hours. Amazon A+ content is a 2-hour project, or we have subscription plans, and I have some folks who do 5 hours a month or 10 hours a month, and then they just order the things that they need each month. If you order a package of hours, they don't expire, so that part is nice. A la carte is $35 an hour, and then it is a discount if you're buying packages. So 5-hour plan is $150, and a 10-hour plan is $240, and we have some bigger packages too. So what we have people doing is kind of planning out, especially folks with a list of books in a subscription format. This month I'm going to do this, a couple things, and then next month I'll do these. And so they're working through their Amazon A+ content and different projects that we can do.
Nice.
So that has been really fun and help relieving some stress for some of our author friends.
Yeah, and it's a good like if you just want to get them done and don't want to have to worry about figuring out the design aspects of them or finding the, I'm assuming you find the images if we provide the content, then the
Yep.
words?
So with each type of project, you fill out a questionnaire. We need to know different things for Amazon A+ content than we do if we're going to make a book trailer for you. And so I'll do a little bit of just talking in the portfolio, but I'll make sure there's plenty of talking for those that are just listening. So we do a lot of Amazon A+. Book trailers are a 3-hour project, and they turn out really cool. And they're usually maybe 45 seconds or so. And then logo design is another thing we do. So if you don't have a logo yet, that's a 5-hour project. You get 3 examples. And then what's nice is you get 2 complimentary revisions because we really do want you to love the logo that you get. Second part of logo design is you may already have your author logo, but there are other things that folks order. So I'm going to click on one here. It's called Headstrong, and it's a band. Guess what? This is a band in a book. And so the author wants to be able to have like swag items and merch and do keychains and stickers and things because the band is such an important part of the book. So that's another thing,
That's
logo
awesome.
wise.
I love it. So
think about how many people are wearing a Hogwarts shirt or a Gryffindor.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Take
Like
it
walking
to the top.
billboards. Yeah.
yeah, totally. I love that. So for example, if we go back up to the A+ content, and I noticed some of the designs are like, so that first one you showed us had the top line was something like the Irish legacy, Irish inheritance. So when I've seen these before, it's often been like the cover image without the cover text on it, and then a couple of little hooky kind of sentences, but this is quite a different design. So are you kind of working with the author to go, okay, I think this will work best for you, or is it the author says, okay, I want it this format, or what's the design process?
It can be a combination of both. So this one actually is book 3 in the bottom module, and those are the folks that are in that book. So they are there, but because it's not just looking like a book cover and we added a different background to them, so if you like that look, some people say, I want something different. I want a Starry Night or something like that. But you'll give us we don't have time to read the book. So you have to give us the wording and the quotes that you want in there. But then we can go whichever direction that you want on those.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
That
one that taking risks is kind of probably more the style of ones that I'd seen before. So I was just kind of intrigued by the way that the format of the Irish one was slightly different. So I thought it was really smart, like having the other books in there and doing all the things that were there. It was just curious as to
This is one where they just called out in the middle module, this is book 1. So at least there's a book in a series, but it is just specific to that one. I'm going to click on this. There's this one has 5 books in the series. The bottom module has all 5. We did separate ones for each book and we color coordinated. Now we found they didn't want the same cover image, so we found different brides or people in fancy dresses and used them that way.
Yeah.
But if you look on Amazon, each one, the colors in the background match the color of that book. So book 1 is red, book 2 is kind of an orange, and they're just stunning. So that is one option. If you're looking to do something in a budget-friendly format, we can also do ones that are for a whole series. So I'm going to click on this one. This book series has 8 books and they're all in the bottom module. And then the text is about the series itself. So for folks who may have a lot of books and it would be like a little daunting to get through all of them independently, this is another way that you could do this. And you'll just tell us it's about the whole series. So that's another option. And then all of a sudden, at least you've got your pages on Amazon with the Amazon A+ content.
Yeah. So that's a good way to do it. I like that. And so you just have it on the same one on all your books. Yeah. That's cool.
So I don't have a book, but they tell me that when you upload it, there's a box you can click and it will add it to all the books in the series rather than you having to upload it to each one. So that would be a little time saver too. And I love time savers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a tip.
That is definitely a tip. I did not know.
So I guess my thought on this is, if you have been avoiding the Amazon A+ because you just weren't sure how and where and what, we can take that part and make you some nice looking graphics, and then you're in the game. You have the Amazon A+.
Did someone say cowboy daycare? I just have to bring this one up.
Oh, yeah. Now that's a hook, isn't it?
It's
Love
cute.
it. It is so cool.
It is very cute.
Oh my goodness.
So I'll tell you, we do a lot of different genres. That's super opposite of some of these other ones, and that's what I love. We can work through that part so that it suits you. So you give us your blurb, you give us the genre, those kind of things. For book trailers, we'll match the music so that if it's suspenseful, you're not having some, romancy music and vice versa. So it will all kind of flow together for you.
Okay.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So I think that, for folks who just need a little boost, or you don't want to have to go find your own designer, because most of the time you do your own things, the hourly concepts can be a nice option. And the hours don't expire, so they're there to use if and when you need them, if you do a package of them.
Also really good that you give an idea of how long they take,
Yes.
the various projects. I think that's really good too, because if you're not used to doing this, or you're not used to paying for these services, you it's how long is a piece of string. So that's a great guidance.
We actually have this whole breakdown, and I'll make sure that you guys have this link. If you're contemplating hours to buy, this is the whole pricing menu by hours. So it tells you Amazon A+ is 2 hours. A bookmark, if you want us to, because it's the front and the back, is 2 hours, and so on. So logo design is 5. So it kind of helps you if you want to do a shopping list or a game plan. If you're going to renew the 10-hour plan for 2 or 3 months and think, okay, here's what I can tackle all these things, and then I'm going to be in really great shape. Those are So you're not just.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it fascinates me that you do Kickstarter campaign.
So is anybody thinking about a Kickstarter? Because this could really take a load off. So it's a 30-hour project, so it is big, but I'll talk to you about it. So the thing that they say about Kickstarter sometimes is, if the person watching it or looking at it can't follow the project, or it feels convoluted, they're not as likely to back it. And so the part that we do are all the graphics. So you still have to do the Kickstarter, but we do the project image, the project video, those header cards. So you get up to 10 header cards, and they're all coordinated. You give us the wording, but then we're going to brand it for your project. The reward images, we do up to 10 reward images. And again, anybody can do Kickstarter, but in the author niche, your rewards are probably going to be book related, and we have all of those things that we can put in there. So if your rewards are book related, we have those proper templates. And then you also get a swag item that we would design. And if your swag item is going to be one of your rewards, then we'll get that done earlier and then include it in the reward images. And then you get one other supporting image that you get to choose. So it's really pretty cool. If you were thinking about it and thinking about the time that it would take you, we can get that all done and brand it for you. So there's that. I will also say, because I like everybody to see all the things, if you're in BookBrush under ad size, we did recently add Kickstarter. So if you do want to be a DIY person, we have the dimensions for the project image, the header card, and the reward image. So
wonderful.
I'm going to tell you, we're here for wherever you're at in your writing journey. We want to be there for you.
And can I just say, given the amount of times that Facebook, etc., the social media platforms particularly change their image sizing, it must be somebody's full-time job just keeping watch of what's going on there.
We do update it periodically when sometimes I feel like we're the last to know, but we do keep
it would be
up
nice
to date.
if they actually announced it,
yes,
but it's usually when I've designed something and I go to upload it, and they've shifted the no-go zone kind of thing for different things on Facebook covers, and it's like
rats.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So anyway, so there's the Kickstarter. If anybody is interested in that, that would be another fun thing that we could do. And just, everything's going to be branded and matched and done by a designer. So that's one other thing that we have in Hourly Concepts. So we do different videos. We can always do your social ads. BookBub ads, we do a fair amount of those too, because, if you do get a BookBub, due to that small size, they're only 300 by 250 pixels, and you just want to make sure it's really impactful and the right call to action in that small size. So we can also do your BookBub ad too.
Very cool. And just to clarify, those are the ads that appear at the bottom of the newsletter for BookBub that authors can purchase a space for.
Yes. One other thing I think I'm going to talk about here is we can also do a movie poster, and people are like, wait, what is that? So we take your book cover and make it into a movie poster.
Fun.
So it's not really a movie, but if you think about if you go to the theater, how this looks, the people listed at the bottom starring in the show, those are the characters in your book. And we just give it that glossy feel. And so if you're doing a Kickstarter, that could be a reward item. You could deliver it digitally to your fans. It could be just for you, and you could print and put it behind you.
Cool. I love that idea.
I love it too. My gosh.
They're so pretty. Here, I'll show you a couple other ones. So that was more of a romance, time travel. This is more a suspenseful. It's called You Can Run, and a different kind of romancy one. This says Masked Intentions, and then we have more of a fantasy one too. But they just turn out really nifty, and that is a 4-hour project. And then we have it where you're the producer, and then it's produced by Brush Media, like for Book Brush, so it feels like a whole movie thing.
Love it.
So if you're thinking outside of the box, or being like, okay, I'm gonna think like a bestseller, we're going to the movie all the way, get yourself the movie poster.
Love that. It's a nice positive affirmation for an author too, to have that printed on the wall.
I think so. Maybe it's like visualization, for the future.
Exactly. It's very cool.
And it just takes it. It's like, wow, look at that. It's so glossy. This looks really neat. So, so those are a lot of the things. In Hourly Concepts, I'll just mention, when you scroll to the bottom, there's a book a consult today, and it's with me. So if you're listening and you're like, I just didn't quite get how that all would work, book a session with me. It's a free consultation where we talk through specifically for you how it might work and what projects you might want to do. And I love doing those. So don't be shy about setting up a time, and we'll go from there.
Nice.
Fantastic.
That's perfect. Alrighty, has anyone got any more questions for Kathleen?
I think that's awesome.
And I think that's it.
Kathleen,
you're buzzing.
So knowledgeable and so gentle and lovely to speak with. So I'm sure anybody that's got questions, don't be afraid of talking to Kathleen.
Did we I did ask you before we came on, I'm not sure if it's appropriate to ask now, Kathleen, did you have a code for us?
Yes. So I'm doing SPA 15, but I don't think I put it on a slide. So here, we'll just talk through. So it is 15% off, and it's absolutely appropriate for you to ask, for sure. So I'm just going to take this one, and we'll put it right in here. So if anyone is watching, it's SPA 15. It's 15% off any of the single author plans. We have 3 tiers plus gold and platinum. And that discount applies each year. And also, if you started out on, say, Plus or Gold, and you're ready to step up to a higher plan, you can use it on your prorated upgrade as well. So absolutely. Go try the free plan, and we hope you love it. And if you want to get in there and do unlimited downloads because it's fun, then SPA 15 would be your coupon code.
Love it.
Nice.
Great. Thank you very much.
So much. Thanks so much for joining us in the spa again. We've really enjoyed having you here with us, and I always learn so much, and I am, as you said, now going to spend an afternoon making things.
I just love sharing Book Brush land with everybody. We could be here for days, but nobody wants that. So we'll just throw in as many cool things as we can in a short amount of time.
Yeah, no, I've already got some projects now, so thank you for that. So the best place to go is to bookbrush.com. Would you say, like?
Yep. We do have on there links like down the side. You can click on the Hourly Concepts if you're interested in that kind of thing. Or you could probably Google Hourly Concepts, but all of it can be found on BookBrush.
Nice.
And our email, support@bookbrush.com. I do sleep at night, so I can't answer them all, but we have a team that will make sure we get back to you.
Awesome. That is nice. I don't know why you think you're allowed to sleep at night, Kathleen.
I mean, I'm not the best at it, and but I do try.
I feel your pain. All right, and Shah, where can we be found?
So the first place to direct people that if you're listening to this to go back if you want to watch Kathleen's screen sharing, and that's at YouTube, and we're at Spa Girls Podcast on YouTube. So you just put in Spa Girls Podcast in the search bar and you'll find us there. And while you're there, if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. We're over 2,000 subscribers now, which is fantastic. And we're also at spargirlspodcast.com, which has got all our previous episodes, including Kathleen's last 2, and our show notes, which we'll put all these links in as well. And we're on Patreon as well if you'd like to support the show. And thank you very much for listening and leaving a review maybe for your new year.
All the things.
Good vibes.
Just
all the things. I know it's no call to action here. It's a call to action list here. So
these things make Shah very happy.
I know they do, especially the YouTube subscribers. So if you want to put a smile on my dial, that would be great.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I just have to say a quick shout out to Shah and the fact that we've got now 2,000 subscribers, and we haven't been on over like we haven't been there
all organic.
That long. Yeah.
Like, and I only begged individually for the first 10, like friends and family, so we get a few. Then after that, it sort of
it just happened.
No, that's awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, Kathleen. We've really enjoyed talking all about design and BookBrush and everything to do with creating our graphics. So that's been amazing. And thank you all to all of our listeners for joining us here again for another episode of the Spa Girls Podcast. We'll be back again next week, but for now, farewell.
Keep well.
Bye.
Bye.